What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm answering a couple of questions that I get asked a lot about the rear mount radiator, like why did I move it to the back? Do I have any overheating issues? Pros and cons. Is it a viable option for the streets? Can you do it? What's the proper way to do it? Take into account that this is a high compression turbo engine, so it does generate a lot of heat. And I have that on my laptop that I will show you what the car is actually doing while it's moving and while it's on idle, just sitting in traffic, stuff like that. So let's get into it. Right, so you see my bumper. I didn't cut the grill. I didn't want to cut the grill. I want to keep the structure of the bumper as complete as possible. One is because they're kind of hard and expensive now to find. The other one was the way I wanted my turbo manifold. The radiator wasn't gonna fit in there. Also, the radiator against the intercooler creates a lot of heat, so that heat goes into the intercooler, and it's not very essential for the IAT. So this is a heat shield that keeps the heat from getting to the intercooler, and it's really effective. It's just an aluminum piece, but it's got a space, so you get the airflow on this side, and since there's air between both sides, that makes it really effective for heat blocking. And the manifold, I wanted it there because same thing. If you put it all up here, that creates a lot of heat soak. That's not essential, especially in a high compression turbo engine that already generates a lot of heat. You don't want that. All right, so that's why the radiator was moved to the back. Okay, so $1 million question: does the car overheat? Not anymore. You can see it right there. You can see the speed. I was just cruising. See over here, 176. This is running at around 45 miles an hour. 178. Now, when the car stays in idle, I was sitting in traffic here. You see it right here. Went up to 280. Then the fan cut on. And it just stays like that. It keeps going up and down. The most I've seen it go is about 184. Then it drops down to like 176, 175. Goes up again. That's if it's like sitting in traffic. It was a hot day. It was like 90 degrees outside, so car is doing pretty good. Okay, so I hope this makes sense, because it does make sense in my head, and this is what I did, and it's working on the car. So this is your engine. Let's go through a component first. Engine, radiator, swirl pot, non-ventilated tank. So this is completely sealed. The cap is completely sealed, doesn't have any holes, doesn't have a spring, it's just sealed. This is your expansion tank. This expansion tank is the one that has the spring on it, on the cap. So in case it goes over the pressure, it releases. This is your reservoir that can be mounted anywhere. The red line right here is the highest point of the cooling system on your engine in the front of the car, right? So these two tubes are your relocation lines. The ones right here. Relocation lines, filler cap. Now, this is your thermostat housing. So, first thing is, this is a 1 1/4 all these inlets and outlets from the engine and the radiator, but you don't want to use 1.25 all the way through on the system, because that's a lot of volume that he has to move, and it will move really slow, and that will cause overheating issues, because by the time the water comes through here and then goes back in here, it will be hot by then. So you want to reduce it a little bit. So what I use is from 1.25 I went to 1 inch. Same here, it comes to 1 inch and then goes to 1.25, and the radiator comes out of the radiator and it goes back to 1 inch. The swirl pot inlets are 1 inch, and I think that's the only things that are 1 inch. All right, so you come out of here, right, out of your relocation line on the thermostat housing, go to your radiator. From the radiator goes to the high or the top entrance, to the top inlet. It's got two. One is gonna be on the top, one is gonna be on the bottom if you have a swirl pot. So you want to go to the higher one. Then you come out of the lower one back into the engine, the one with the cap for the relocation line with the cap. Now this cap, to make it work good, you have to go over this line. I used a laser to measure my everything, so my cap sits a little bit higher, probably like I want to say like an inch higher, or maybe a little more, and it works great. So this is just a regular cap too, non-ventilated cap. It's completely sealed once you close it. This is your steam port. These are actually the nipples that come out of the thermostat housing. It's just, mine has two, you might just have one. And you can tee them together. If you have two, that's what I did on mine. So when it comes from here, it goes to a check valve. That's the first one, right? The check valve has to be flowing that way out of the engine, so it cannot return back, right? Then the other check valve will go on the top of the swirl pot. That's the one that is pushing air, right? So goes to the swirl pot, to a check valve, but it cannot return back to the swirl pot. You can join these together right here. You can use a T or whatever. And it goes to the top of your non-ventilated cap. This is completely sealed. Then you have your expansion tank. This one is the one with the spring cap. So if it goes over the pressure, it releases. This is your reservoir. Reservoir can be mounted anywhere, it doesn't matter. This, you want it higher than this line. You see how everything is like, this line is right here. The swirl pot has to be a little bit over. You can use 3-4 inches, just so any air goes over that point. And expansion tank usually only has one nipple to come out, or one exit, whatever. That is going back to your line. You can use either one, it doesn't matter. It can be this one or this one. It should work just fine. And the bottom of your non-ventilated tank is gonna join that line coming out of the expansion tank. Why? Because when this swirl pot and this steam port is pushing water and air, it's coming in here in this non-ventilated tank, right? So all the air is gonna get trapped up here. That same pressure is gonna push water back in, and these check valves will not let any air go back into the system. So all you're getting is water back. if the actual system needs water, it will actually pull back in from your expansion tank and this area right here. And I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. It's relatively simple, but it actually works really good. What I do is I fill up this one first, fill this up, so all this part right here fills up with as much water as I can. So all this area right here fills up, right? Then when this is not taking any more water, I go to my expansion tank, fill up my expansion tank. Sometimes you see water like this is not getting anything, so this is gonna be a little bit slower to fill up. And you fill your expansion tank, but you see the level of the water here is like somewhere around here, right? That's fine, not a problem. You just open your tank, your non-ventilated tank, and fill this one. So this is second, and this is third to fill. And you will see your level. You want to make sure the level is, when you mount these tanks, you see this line right here. You want the top of your expansion tank to the middle of your non-ventilated tank. Expansion tank, non-ventilated tank, sprung cap, completely sealed cap, no holes, no nothing. So this is your area with air. If you are trying to do yours, you can actually make it work because it is effective, it works. Car still runs on stock water pump. I haven't needed an electric one yet. It seems to be fine. It seems to flow fine. And yeah, I mean, if you guys found any value in this video, I will greatly appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next one.